I want your audience to see this. It's on page 47. The FBI just released this about.
So hold on a minute. Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
This is the Trump. This is the Trump DOJ.
That's correct.
So
I
Cash and Dan,
can your audience see this?
Yeah.
Okay. You are looking at, for those of you who aren't familiar with criminal procedure or didn't go to law school, when the FBI executes a search warrant, they have to go to a judge, a federal judge, and they have to get it signed off. They have to present the reasons. Why do we want to raid your home with a battering ram and all that? In my case, they dropped the case. There was no crime. There was no charges. So the courts require them release the affidavit. That is the probable cause justifying the search of James O'Keefe's house. You are looking at the Trump Justice Department's release. Look at this. Look at this. This is the probable cause. Wait. They didn't redact something on the bottom. Go back to page 45.
Based on my training and experience, I have learned, among other things, that cell phones are capable of sending and receiving emails like the aforementioned emails.
Are you effing kidding me?
Wow.
Wait,
hold on, James. Is that true that phones can receive emails?
I guess phones can receive emails, Tim.
Wow.
So they even redacted the little footnotes in the sentences.
Look at you can see.
They redacted the numbers. Now this is not child porn or Epstein. This is not Afghanistan drug traffickers. This is a newsroom being raided by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the United States of America can't release one word of the reason why they did it after admitting there was no crime.
Yeah, that's
and you expect me to have faith in this Department of Justice?
So this is the DOJ under Donald Trump, and this is what they put out.
Correct.
So Dan, Cash, or Pam could unredact it and send it to
you. The Attorney General of the United States has the authority to unredact this.
So what is in it?
Call Pam. Call Cash. It's like an infomercial. These people get asked 10,000 favors a day. I'm not going to ask. If the system of justice depends upon us asking favors, I don't think the system works.
Oh, wait. Here's
I think it's
exactly right.
about
it should be just
the administration
for
of justice.
Yes, it should be justice.
It should be about doing the right thing.
It should be about whose phone number you have.
Lost in America is any semblance of doing any right and wrong.
Favors,
power, money,
cronyism.
These
kleptocracy.
These documents you posted. Yeah. There are other pages they gave you because this
is a public document. This is a public proceeding.
Right, but this is page 43.
Well, that's because it's the probable cause. That's the most important part. The reason for the raid. This is called an affidavit. It's what the FBI goes to a magistrate judge when you get the raid. And if you look at these 3 pages, this is the probable cause section. Keep going.
Yeah, they're all gone.
Every single word is redacted. Keep going.
That was it.
That's it.
So here's the funny thing, though. On the first one, number 46 before the probable cause has a number redacted, right?
Yes.
Okay, but they didn't redact it at the bottom. So we know it's number 17. I don't understand the point of redacting the number up top and at the bottom because we know what it is.
I guess they were sloppy and inconsistent on that. Yes. But you see my larger point, Tim? This is a clown show. This is preposterous. This is ridiculous.
How could Dan Bongino, of all people, be compromised?
And I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm not going to burn anyone, but I've reached out to the White House Office of Counsel. Oh, I'll help you. I don't even like that I have to ask for favors because if I'm just a normal Joe taxpayer, this stuff happens every day in this. This is a disgrace.
Well, this stuff was happening to J6ers too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
They were just normal people.
Normal people.
Well, it's funny. I was talking to some friends of mine who are here local to the area, like Matt and Olivia, their names, they run their own show, like Don't Unfriend Me. And one of the things that they do is they talk to their local community. And they say, what do you think about the Dan Bongino, Cash Patel situation? We were talking about this earlier today at lunch. And we were talking about we don't know what we don't know.
Right.
People are tired of not knowing. If this is what the DOJ is going to do, if this is their idea of transparency, then I'm sorry, but we are at an impasse as far as what the definition of transparency actually is. We, the American people, we actually demand answers and real transparency. It's not that hard to deliver.
So again, when people say, or if I say, I do not believe that Dan Bongino, Cash Patel, or Pam Bondi are actually going to arrest the corrupt Democrats who are, say, going after Trump's lawyers or falsely prosecuting him in New York, and they say, why do you think that? I just point to James O'Keefe.
That's all you got. That's exactly why I shared. I speak a lot about my personal experiences because it's factual. I mean, Tim, That's the evidence right there for Epstein. They can't even give you I mean, I just want to repeat myself. I apologize. I'm being repetitive. They can't even unredact one word of the probable cause for their illegal raid of my newsroom.
To be fair, it would be funny if "of" and "the" were unredacted. It's the only thing in it.
I mean, well, I'm going to sue the Department of Justice, so you know. I'm going to go to the Article 3 judge. That's the federal judge. I have to go through this whole process, pay lawyers $1,000 an hour. You know who wins in all this, everyone?
Yeah, the lawyers.
Lawyers.
Yeah.
The lawyers win because actually the more we lose, the January 6 people, everyone, the more the pleadings, the filings, the more they win because they get paid $1,000 an hour. It's a kleptocracy. It's a disgrace. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little black-pilled more so than when I first met you, Tim.
To be fair, this is just after Trump got in. So this is before Cash and Dan.
This is in February. This is after Trump got in.
But this is February 6th.
This is a Trump-appointed interim United States attorney in the Southern District of New York.
So maybe Cash and Dan will actually be like, no, this is BS. Let's get it unredacted.
But how much time does that take? I mean, under the Constitution, I forget the Bill of Rights, aren't you afforded a speedy trial and all that jazz? I mean, how much time does it take?
Yeah, but that's only in a criminal trial for you.
What's that?
I suppose this was a criminal matter.
This is a criminal proceeding.
Yeah.
But this goes back to the concept of there being no consequence as of right now for this blatant lawfare, for this partisanship when it comes to these things. I mean, just prime example, swatting has become this new big thing that a lot of people will do to, conservative individuals.
Right.
I myself, my wife and I, we were living in our home, and next thing you know, this is literally Christmas night in 2023. We have literally a 3-week-old baby, our baby girl. And if y'all both are watching, I love you very much. But we had a knock on the door, and someone had swatted our house. Because they know what I do, and I am nowhere near the level that Tim, you, and James are. But it happens all the time. But that only happens because there is no fear of consequence.
Correct.
And whenever you have that sort of blatant two-tier justice system, whatever you want to call it, people are going to continue to engage in this behavior because there's never any fear of any sort of retribution whatsoever, even when that retribution is justified.
I mean, my fear is that in the DOJ we have 3 people: Cash, Dan, and Pam. And we're asking them to deal with a problem of tens of thousands. Maybe it's not possible.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, let's take a look at the initial Epstein stuff, right? If we're to believe everything they've said, Pam Bondi released this letter where she was like, I instructed the FBI to release the Epstein files, and they did not do it. And then because of whistleblower, I found out New York was withholding information on this. The question then is, why did we only find out about the videos they have because of an undercover video from James O'Keefe? Why wasn't she telling the public?
What did you think about that video, Tim? I took some heat for publishing that. I don't dislike or like her. It's not about what I think about the Attorney General, but you felt I should have published that, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought I think it's tremendously amazing journalism. I think it shows your integrity. You're not a partisan actor who's going to say, I give free tickets for the right or for the Trump administration.
Right.
You said, we want the truth on Epstein, and we're going to investigate it regardless of who's in charge.
So we did her a little bit of a favor, I suppose, by sending the quote. Journalistically, I actually sent the full quote of what she said in that restaurant to that nanny. So is that a public place? It's kind of quasi-public place. She's telling this to a stranger.
That's weird.
Yeah, that is weird. Why?
A stranger 9 days before she said it publicly. So why? So
and it was like the exact same thing.
it was like word for word.
She clearly came out and said it publicly because they knew they had to get ahead of you.
If she didn't come out and say that publicly, she may have been forced to resign because that's a crazy thing.
Well, so when I don't see anything wrong with you sending them the quote saying, here's what we have.
You think I should have sent them the quote verbatim?
I think it's fine.
I had some reporters telling, you're giving them, you're giving them a way out because then she can go public on the White House and say what. Well, I don't know. It's a tough call.
But I don't think there's anything unethical about it. It's an issue of, I guess, your publishing strategy to maximize the effect of the story or whatever.
I was shocked that she said verbatim the same thing. I was in our newsroom and we were just aghast. I couldn't believe it.
I mean, I gotta be honest. That sounds like PR 101. Like ask your. I mean, we talk about this with all of the investigations you've done. These people need to get in front of these stories.
True.
When you reach out and say, "Hey, we have you on camera doing this," they always react wrong. I think Pam Bondi
reacted rationally
and said, "We need to get in front of the James O'Keefe story. Let's come out and make the announcement."
But why? But why?
Well, the reason you would say the exact same thing is because she didn't want to reveal anything else, perhaps, other than what had already been revealed.
Correct.
Yeah.
But why was that shared with a nanny in a
That's
restaurant?
so weird. We were talking about that too in our team, and we were like, why? That is so bizarre.
What caused her to do that?
Guilt.
Why? So how can you? I don't want you to expose any of your
go ahead.
methods or anything, but how did you come to get access to that?
We did not intend to get that. That was so we got undercover people and sleuths around the country just recording, and eyes and ears really everywhere, I suppose, both because we have a team of 20 people undercover, but also because we have a citizen army and someone happened to be in that restaurant investigating something else
Interesting.
and was simply saw that
In public,
and
she said it.
recorded it. It was in a restaurant in D.C. She was having brunch, the Attorney General, and she disclosed this to a self-described nanny
But this is
on
important.
April 28th.
This was in a public place where anyone could have heard it,
Yeah.
which is literally how you end up with video of it.
Yeah, and when I'm very careful to do these undercover things where the people within earshot, so it's legal. If I'm in a two-party consent. Now, Washington's one party, so it's different. But yeah, people could overhear the conversation, which I thought was newsworthy. And we were literally intending to publish that. But then when she went on the White House lawn and said it, we had to rewrite the whole story. Obviously.
If it were me, I'd just published on the spot.
That's an interesting point. That's the criticism I got by giving her the quote. Arguably, I did damage to the story. It's a weird thing. You're obligated to reach out for comment. On the other hand, you're giving the subject a heads up,
But
so they can do damage control.
I think it's fine. The only reason to withhold the information from Bondi or from the subject is to damage them in your story.
I wasn't trying to do that.
Exactly. Which is why I'm saying you did the right thing by saying, we have the story, we'd like a comment. That's the appropriate ethical thing to do.
That's the thing you're supposed to do.
Then when she came out and said, here's a thing that's true, maybe it's bad for your bottom line because you didn't get credit for it, but the story came out. She was forced to admit it. That's what journalism is supposed to do.
She did say there's tens of thousands of videos, and we go back. Yeah.
This is what the corporate press does. They say, hey, we've got this story about James O'Keefe. Should we get a comment from him? No, because then we'll have to run it. He may give us information which takes away our credibility when we defame him. If we know for a fact it's not true, he can sue us. Don't tell him we're doing it because we want to maximize the story and our bottom line. We want to make money off this story. So let's say they have a story where they're like, Libby stole a pie off a windowsill from an old lady. And then
That's horrible.
an ethical journalist says, Libby, a source has come to us saying that they are seeking criminal charges against you for stealing a pie off their windowsill. And then you respond with a video showing you looking at the windowsill and a different person grabs it and run. And you go, stop that man. He stole it. They now can't run the story. They can try to weasel it out, but now they know for a fact it's not true.
Right.
So they'd rather just say, don't get a comment from Libby accusing her of malfeasance gets us more clicks and we can claim plausible deniability because we had no idea.
Right.
Correct.
So long story short, James, you did the right thing.
Well, I appreciate
And the story
that.
got out, and it's good that we know this now, and it puts more pressure on them, and it's good that we know what happened behind the
We
scenes.
live in a very political, polarized society, and Tim. The older I get, the more I'm like, you know what? I just want to tell the truth. I'm not. It sounds like a cliche, but I'm not trying to gore someone's ox or help or hurt. I just want the truth. But it was remarkable just how polarized we are.
Oh.
Hyper political. Everyone thinks in terms of tribes and whose side they're on.
It's getting worse.
Really, journalism has stopped being just about the non-biased dissemination of the facts, and it's more about a strategic sort of chess game. It's like, if I do this, someone else is going to do that. And I think that's where a lot of the frustration comes from, particularly, individuals who are just sitting there at home right now, watching the stream. They want answers, but to them it feels like I have to wait for this to get that. And how long do I have to wait to get the answers that I desperately want to uncover?
The issue of the tribalism is that it already happened, and it's in the younger generations. It happened. There is very little red pilling or waking woke or whatever. So a lot of people tend to look at our society as a static system when it's actually an emergent system. So I'd say, imagine a line. In the middle of it is you, and your lifespan is, a tiny piece of it, there's a wave that will come by, lift you up. Here's the peak of your existence in your career, and then you die. And that wave continues. But this means the younger generation, their politics are entrenched in them at a young age. Rarely do people get red-pilled or have awakenings. And so most people, like I said, view the system as a static system where we're constantly trying to convince the other side of why they're right or wrong. No. You are trying to indoctrinate young people to see the world the way you do and the things that you want and believe are true, so that when they get older, those views become a fabric of your society. The point is, the polarization didn't one day just happen. Like a bunch of boomers looked at each other and went, hey, I don't like you. We're enemies now. No, the boomers are the same. The boomers are the same as they were in the 90s. The issue is that younger people are hyperpolarized. In 10 years, the boomers will start passing on, dying, and the younger generation, hyperpolarization, will become a larger percentage of the political climate. 20 years from now, there will be nothing but hyperpolarization.
Here's the question.
To be fair, there's arguments to either side. One is that Gen Z is moving towards Jesus and conservatism. However, it's largely among males and the females are not. But then the argument I've made is that women, because of their limited time for reproduction, will eventually cave to the demands of men because men don't have those limitations. But there is also that liberals don't have kids. So it may be that this polarization is a blip in the system. And because they don't have children in 20 or 30 years, it's just going to be an overwhelmingly conservative country.
Well, my question that I feel like I would have is, while there might not be necessarily the red pilling that many of us are used to or experienced ourselves at some point in time, is there something to be said for the fact that the younger generations are going to be inherently countercultural, that they are going to rebel against whatever they are told is the proper way to think?
I don't think that's true. I think that was fabricated by communists.
Okay.
You think counterculture was a communist fabrication?
I think it does happen for various reasons throughout history. I believe this current iteration was largely communist exploitation. And I mean that quite literally. We were in the Cold War, and it is a fact. I mean, if you look at, I can't believe I'm forgetting the guy's name now. Remember that Russian guy who came and did that speech about...
Solzhenitsyn?
No. Well, he was great too, but there's a guy who's in an interview and everybody shares it in super chats.
Oh, yes. I know what you're talking
Serge, no.
No.
The propaganda from the 80s.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Where he said that they're going to come for your institutions, your schools, and they're going to,
I don't remember either.
But you know what I'm talking about. You just can't remember the guy's name.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait for the chat because 800 people are going to...
Someone's going to say it.
Yeah. But what I think happens is, I've heard this quite a bit from Yuri Bezmenov.
Yep.
It is.
Thank you, chat. This is the only reason the show works is because the chat is like a real-time oracle of facts to correct us when we're wrong. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.